There we go. We are out. There's the firewall. It's out. So, yabba dabba doo. Well, hey, Cookster here, and welcome to another video. In this video, we're taking the damn firewall out. How about that? It really wasn't that hard. You got some rivets you have to grind out, and then spot welds that hold the cowl side panels on. So you spot weld, cut those out, you grind the rivets, and the firewall comes out. So how about that? Let's get on into the video. Let me show you how I pulled this firewall out. It really wasn't that bad. So here we go. So there's spot welds down in here. There's rivets on the front side. There's a rivet here. There's at least one rivet on the inside, and maybe more. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna grind the paint off here so I can find these spot welds. Now this is a wire brush, but it's not made of wire. It's made of some kind of plastic. It's made by a company called Nylox, N-Y-L-O-X. I started using these a few years ago. Saw a guy on YouTube using them, and I like them a lot. They don't sling little shards of death at you like the wire brush wheels do. They're not quite as aggressive as the wire wheels are. There's still cases where the wire wheel is better, but for stuff like this, I'm just knocking paint off, trying to find spot welds. These work great. Alright, I believe I found all of them. So the way I do it normally, and this goes back to my body shop days, I'll usually take a center punch. I've got an automatic center punch, but I just got to where I like doing it by hand for some reason. But the way I normally do it is I find my center, I find the spot weld, like one's right here. I will center punch it with the center punch. Duh. And then I'll get an 1/8 inch drill bit and I'll drill. Sometimes I drill all the way through, sometimes I don't. But I'll drill at least a pilot hole for my spot weld cutter to ride in. The snap-on spot weld cutter I had back in the day, they said you could put that point in the center punch hole and it would spin, but for me it never worked out. It always walked and wandered off. So I just learned a long time ago just to drill a pilot hole. That's how I do it. That way the bit stays where you want it. And I'll be shocked here if I haven't missed at least 1 or 2 spot welds. So I'm going to go down through here and punch the ones I know I found. So, and some are right up in this, the kind of in the edge of this cowl band. They're going to be a pain to get out. There's a brace inside of here too that's got to be cut loose. There's I think there are like 2 rivets up here and 2 rivets back here. Now I got to get my drill out and I'll go through and drill my starter, my pilot holes. So I'll be right back. So let's drill some pilot holes. Another thing I want to do before I forget, I'm going to be putting this firewall in and out at least for a little while I'm making this cowl panel, because I want to have the firewall in here so I can get the cowl panel to fit right. So point is I want to have lineup holes to get this thing back in here right. So I'm going to drill all the way through right here for a Cleco hole. And I'm going to drill one at the bottom. I'm going to drill one on the top, one on the bottom on each side. So as I take the thing off and on, I can put it back in the same spot every time. In case you don't know what Clecos are, I'll show you later. I can't, yeah. I'll show you later. Now I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me drill all these spot welds out. I'm just showing you how I do it. Spot weld cutter. I bought this one off of Amazon. My snap-on spot weld cutter broke on me years ago. And then I always use cutting oil. I don't know why some people are so stubborn about not using cutting oil. My dad taught me this when I was a kid, and it just has always stuck with me. It just makes your bits cut so much better and last so much longer. I don't get why so many people are stubborn about cutting oil. But anyway, I'm not gonna rant about that. So then we just start drilling, and if you got it in the right spot, normally when the spot weld goes through, the panel will pop a little bit or move. You'll see it move if you got it in the right spot. So let's see what happens. The trick here is not, if you're trying to reuse whatever it is you're drilling out, the trick is not to drill all the way through to the other side. You want to drill the top panel and stop. Now I'm not going to be reusing this Firewall, but somebody else, I'm going to try to sell it. So I'm trying to not drill all the way through. Now I got part of it. I've got a chisel, a thin chisel. See, it's much thinner in cross section that you can use to drive up in there, and a lot of times and break them loose. You don't want to, get all caveman and tear it up, but a little bit of tapping. And I know I'm in the way, but I can't be helped. Can sometimes help. You can also use a putty knife. Ones you don't care about tearing the blade up, the edge up in one. You gotta pop that loose, real easy. And this next one down may come ahead and pop loose too. And we're good. Top's loose, so we're working our way down. We're loose down to this rivet right there. So I got a rivet head I got to grind off. And there's a number of ways to do that. Let me show you how I'm going to do it. That's a domed rivet head, like your thumb kind of. You know what a rivet head looks like. There's multitudes of ways to grind stuff like this. We're down in a little channel. So you could get a grinder disc in there, but you're only using the very edge. It's not very efficient. You're going to grind, if this is a panel I was trying to save, you're going to wind up grinding this back edge back here. That's not a good way to do it. I'll keep these 1/16 inch wide cutting disc. The ones you cut with are normally, 30, 40 thousandths. The thin ones, they cut a lot better, a lot faster. I use these thicker ones for grinding stuff on its side, like this. I grind welds, I grind rivet heads, I grind all kind of stuff like this. So if you watch carefully when you're grinding, whenever the edge of, say, the bolt or whatever, rivet in this case, the edge starts to turn blue, it's getting hot and you just about ground all the way through. So you know to kind of slow down and start being careful so you don't start grinding into your base panel a whole lot. See, I'm through now. Just slow down, take your time, and you won't destroy your inner panel. Now I realize I'm going to throw this panel away. I'm just trying to show you how to do this without making a mess, without tearing up something. That was a mistake. I just bumped the trigger too hard. There we go. See it pop loose? We're done. I barely even touched my parent metal, my parent panel metal base thing, doodad, waffle jobber, whatever you want to call it. Alright, that answered my question. There's no rivets down at the bottom, or no spot welds at the bottom. We are completely loose. Oh, there we go. See the panel pop? We are completely off the firewall. If I was going to cut this panel off, I'm halfway done already. Alright, so the cowl panel is loose. You can see it here. It's completely off the firewall. If I want to remove it, I just got to get the bottom and the back and the top, and it'd be off. Front's done. And that wasn't hard at all. Didn't fight me nearly as much as I thought it might. So anyway, next will be, got to do the same thing for the other side. I'll do it off camera. And then we got to come back and start grinding these rivets and try to figure out all the rivets in the foot. I know where they're supposed to be, according to YouTube, so we'll see. So anyway, it's time for me to quit now. It's getting late. I'm getting hungry. So we'll come back tomorrow and hit it again. So till tomorrow, I will see you then. Alright, I'm working on removing this firewall. I've already got the passenger side out, and it actually wasn't that bad. I had to grind the rivet heads off, and then I took a torch. They still were very stubborn. I knew they would be. The rivet's been in there for almost 100 years. So I took a torch that heated up the area around surrounding the metal and just kind of drove them loose. Didn't want to get on them too hard. I thought about using an air ratchet or an impact hammer with a little punch to punch them out, but if you do that, they'll start splaying out and you drive on them hard, and that might make them worse to get out. So I just did it with a small roll punch and a hammer. Again, I like to do things by hand a lot of times. You guys are going to say it takes longer and blah blah and blah. I don't care. It's the way I do it, and it works for me. I'm going to film me doing the driver's side right here. It's actually not really that bad if you know where all the stuff is at. That helped me out a lot, obviously, watching those videos. So first thing I'm going to do is grind these rivet heads off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one in here. Don't forget this one right here this way. That's 6. And then there's a couple more inside. I've already done the one at the bottom down here. I did it yesterday. It was holding the cowl on and the firewall. That's the one I ground off on the side like this with my die grinder. So anyway, I'm going to grind these rivets off right quick, and then we'll go from there. So one thing about grinding these rivet heads off, the heads are kind of sucked down into the metal. When they rivet them on, it compresses that metal. So the head is kind of actually deformed. You know, the head's up here, and the bottom kind of deforms under. So you really can't grind every bit of the rivet head off with just a flat grinder, unless you grind really deep into your firewall, which I'm trying not to do. So I'm just getting down really close to the metal, and I'm going to switch over to my die grinder and just lick the last few little bit of that rivet head off. When you do it, you'll understand. Those of y'all that have already done it, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, here we go. Now, goggles and gloves. Protect yourself, people. I'm bad about not wearing goggles a lot, but I'll try to anytime I'm in a more dangerous spot. Thing about doing it this way, when that rivet head gets thin and pops off, you can see it really well doing this. With the flat grinder, it's a lot of times hard to see that. Alright, I think that's all of them. If not, I'll find out. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some heat. Not even going to try to overheat it, but get it good and hot. And then it's basically just letting that metal heat up and expand a little bit. I'm not really getting this area cherry red as much as I'm kind of getting it hot. I'm letting it turn red, but not overly red. I don't want to over soften the rivet, especially to make it mushroom out on me, which I don't think it would, unless I really got it hot. I'm not getting it to the point of melting, but I am getting it pretty warm. Obviously. one turn loose. Okay. They don't always come off that quick, but sometimes they do. This one over here is about to already come loose. That was almost a 2-for-1 right there. It is loose. I'm just going to make double sure. Yep, that one's loose. The one at the bottom is about to be loose. Again, the heat helps it turn loose. And that metal expands. It gives that rivet room to turn loose. These things have been riveted now for almost 100 years. 90 years, I guess it is. And they're well set, that's for sure. I think that's it on that one. I think that was good. And then we got the one right up here. Or two up here, I guess it is. That's it. Yep, got that one. And I may have just got that one. I'm going to put a little bit of heat on it just to help it. Oh yeah, that one popped all the way out. Alright, so that's done. The one in here on the inside, coming this way, you know, right in there, I can't get to because you have to hammer, you know, in the side. You can't get to it. So on the other side, I was able to it just broke loose or turned loose when the rest of these loosened up. So we'll see if that happens over here. So now I've got a couple different prying tools. I got these. I'm not sure. I think it's called lady feet. I think it's what we used to call these. This is a smaller one. I got this little pry bar. It's made for woodworking, but it works good for this kind of stuff too, that right angle end. I'm trying not to hit this really hard. Like, you know, I'm trying not to carry this firewall up. It ought to be loose by now, but it's not. The flange in there's two flanges put together with a rivet this way. I'm going to drive a chisel between the flanges and try to spread them apart. That's what I did on the other side, and it worked. Yep, that got that apart. Yeah, there it goes. On the other side, I pulled the top loose and it popped off. So let me show you what I'm talking about on the inside. That bracket right there, there's two rivets in the front and two rivets in the back. I ground the two off the back because the ones in the front are a lot harder to get to. So on this side, there's the same deal. There's two rivets right here. I know the zoom is not right, but I'm gonna grind these two rivets out, and hopefully when I get these two loose, the top of the firewall will pitch out, and that's what worked on the other side. The firewall pitched out and then it let the bottom come loose, so that's what I'm about to try. There it goes. That's off. So let's see what happens here. There we go. We are out. And this thing's not light either. I think it's made out of 16 gauge. It's heavy. So, Firewall is out. Yeehaw! So there's the foot assembly, the foot and the bracket. There is rust right back there in the subframe piece. There's some rust up here. Here on the driver's side, it's worse. It's rusted, damn near rusted through right here. It's really rusty right here. I think these are rivets that are about to break through. The foot itself looks to be in pretty good shape. Obviously the bottom of the cowl is gone. We already talked about that, and I got to repair the bottom inside of here. So I don't know if I'll be cutting these pieces off completely and remaking them or fixing them or what. I've seen lots of people on YouTube do it because this is one of the areas that really rots out really bad. And I'm definitely going to fix it, whatever it takes. If I had to cut it all out and remake it or refix it or something, I will. I have not decided yet if I'm going to make an entire new subframe for this thing yet. What I have here seems to be in pretty good shape. So next, at some point, I want to work on these cowl panels. Well, I don't know if that's the order I'm going to do it in or not, but I will be at some point making a new cowl, or at least attempting to make new cowl panels for both sides. But anyway, there it is. It's out. There's the Firewall. It's in good shape. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Pulling this Firewall out was actually pretty, well, I don't want to say it was easy because nothing's easy on these things, but it was easier. And watching Matt at Iron Trap do his really helped me out a lot, knowing what to do. So if you guys are doing this and don't know how to do it, I hope this video helps you. You know, if you want to, go watch Matt. His videos are pretty good. He's got a good channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, or at least enjoyed it if you didn't learn anything. I didn't get mad in this video, so praise to me for doing that. And anyway, be sure to do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, share it, tell your buddies, your enemies, ex-wives, girlfriends, whatever. And I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now, you hear? Happy Model A time, boys and girls.